Hey guys, it's Raven. Hopefully I am live. Sorry, I was a few minutes late today. I am doing this, as you can see, from my altar room, and this is the first time that I'm using my streaming multi-casting service, so it took me a little bit to set up. But anyway, here we are. First of all, I'm going to apologize for you. We didn't have a Witches in last week or the week before, and I am sorry about that. Just things kind of just got completely out of control in my side, and it was very difficult. There we go. At least I can see better now. It was very difficult for me to get some stuff scheduled. So finally, I did a little bit of catch up this month, and here we are. So today, what I want to talk to you guys about is we're going to be talking about that energy of Taurus, right? And as you can see, I'm coming to you from my altar room today. I'm going to talk about the energy of Taurus that's coming up for us tomorrow. And what can you do with it? I mean, what does that energy actually mean? And what can you actually, how can you apply that in your life? And what can you do for yourself during Taurus season? So a couple of things. So let's first do a little bit of a deep dive, or not deep dive, but a little bit of a dive into what's Taurus all about, right? So when you start looking at Taurus energy, Taurus is really kind of a sign of a little bit of extremes. So, imagine the image that you have for Taurus, right? So you're looking at, the bull. And so the bull really has two moments where it's two areas where it operates. One area is when it's very content in the fields and its pasture. It's doing its little bull thing, and it's just chilling and eating the good food and doing all the things that it needs to do. The other side of Taurus is when you've pissed it off and now it's going to rip your face off. That's pretty much how Taurus operates. So it's a very interesting balance, and not really that nuanced approach, right? People talk about bull in a china shop all the time, and that is very much applicable to Taurus. Taurus is, hey, Joanna, good to see you. Taurus is a sign that a lot of times will have those two extremes. And when Taurus gets upset, it is the bull in the china shop. So we have to be very careful when we're dealing with these energies. So the second thing is, so let's look at the first one. Taurus is really happy in its pasture. So it's eating its little food and it's very comfortable in its surroundings. So Taurus is a sign that likes familiar things. So it likes to be at home. It wants its home to be in order. It's the nurse sign after all. So it likes to have, it's all about, and also Taurus is ruled by, hey, Trisha. Glad I could finally make the live. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys are all here. So Taurus is another sign that, likes to have everything in its place. They like to be organized when they're at home. They like their home to be their own, right? So they like to put their mark on things. Everything that it's at home is theirs, and they are very possessive and very protective of that energy, right? So Taurus also, because it's ruled by Venus, likes the finer things in life. So a lot of times you'll find Taurus appreciating good food, good drinks, art, just natural beauty around you. Taurus is very much in line with that because it's that Venus coming out within that earth sign. So those are a couple things of Taurus. The other thing about Taurus is a fixed sign. So a lot of times in the zodiac, there's three signs, right? We have cardinal signs, which are basically the trailblazers. Cardinals are like, I'm going to see it. I'm going to act before I even think. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff and see what works, and I'm going to go for it. And so the way that the zodiac is spread out is really interesting because you always have a line of, there's three signs per season, and each season is going to have a cardinal sign, a fixed sign, and a mutable sign. So the cardinal sign is the sign that begins the season. It just throws everything out there and let's see what sticks. And then you have the second sign that comes from that is going to be the fixed sign. And the fixed sign is the one that's going to take everything that the cardinal sign put in place. And then it's going to say, okay, now we need to get to work and we need to make sure that these things can happen. So Taurus is all about hard work. Taurus is not afraid of work. A lot of times you'll find Taurus is holding down multiple jobs. Taurus is a sign that sticks to things unto their completion. Taurus can be very focused at times. It doesn't abandon projects halfway done, which is what cardinal signs tend to do sometimes. So that is another feature you're going to have with Taurus. I want to make sure I'm hearing it. Fixed sign. I want to make sure that I'm hearing it correctly. It's a little staticky. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm staticky. I hope I'm not. Um, but yes, it is. Taurus is a fixed sign. And so you're going to start the season with a cardinal sign, and then you're going to have a fixed sign that comes after that. And then after the fixed sign, you're going to have your mutable sign. And the mutable sign is the sign that's going to pick up the pieces, right? So, for example, when you begin in January, oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that's happening because I have pretty decent internet. Oh no, somebody else said, Trisha, that it's breaking up. I'm not hearing any static on my end. Um, I don't know what to do, guys. This is brand new for me. Let me see if I can hit something in my settings and make a change. Audio, um, echo cancellation. It maybe. Can you guys hear me better now? Is it a little bit better? Hopefully that's a little bit better. Yeah, it's not raining down here, so I don't know. So, for example, in January, right, you have the fix when winter starts. The fixed sign that starts winter is Capricorn. So, Capricorn is going to throw everything out there. The second sign that's going to come after that is going to be your fixed sign, which is Aquarius, right? Aquarius is going to look at all the ideas that Capricorn threw out there. And it's going to say, okay, let's see what works, what doesn't work. Let's make things happen. And then the third sign after that is going to be Pisces. And Pisces is basically going to clean up after what these two signs did to make sure that they are able to accomplish everything that they want to accomplish. So when you're looking at Taurus, Taurus is the fixed sign in this season. So it's the spring fixed sign. So think about what spring is all about to begin with, right? We're looking at new beginnings, we're looking at growth and all of that. And Taurus being the fixed sign in that arena, Taurus is going to be all about manifestation. Taurus is going to be all about taking the ideas that Aries came up with and then let's see if we can make these things happen. So you add the energy of spring, you add in the energy for Taurus, you add in the earth energy, and then you add in Venus. And you're going to have a sign that is going to be helping you in this month to manifest all of the things that you started last month. So if you had that new project, if you remember last month, we talked about let's start out some new projects, let's see what we can make happen. So you had all of that starting last month, right? And we did a lot of spell work and a lot of ceremony to get our ducks in a row for that. Now, as we enter with Taurus, we're entering into a season that's going to say, okay, now it's going to be hard work, nose to the grindstone. Let's make sure we can do it. And Taurus is probably one of the best manifester signs in the zodiac, which means that pretty much everything Taurus wants, it tends to get because it works its butt off for it. It doesn't sit back on the sidelines and wait for things to happen. So this is a lesson that we can take in from Taurus, which is going to be, we want something. This is the season to roll up our sleeves and get to work and make sure that we can take advantage of all these energies that are being offered to us. So there's going to be other things. So so once again, ruled by earth, which is earthly manifestation, self-care, and home. And this is the important thing with Taurus, because even though Taurus is really great at self-care, it's probably one of the better signs of the zodiac. I think maybe only stubbornness does help. I totally agree with that. But I think probably one of the only other sign that's as equally well good as Taurus in self-care is going to be Virgo, right? So Taurus is excellent in self-care. Taurus knows what it is that it needs to do to keep itself in balance, right? Problem with Taurus is that stubbornness and is that vision that one I got to focus on what I'm going to do, which means that it can at times become out of balance in doing too much and not taking the time to self-care. So that is something that you need to worry about, because if you are a Taurus in this month, this is your month, right? This is this time that if you've got any major things that you want to be doing, and you think, yeah, I'll do it at the end of the summer. No, 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 no. This is the month. This is the Taurus season is when you want to do it, because all the energies are in your court for you to manifest things. But just be very cautious and careful that you are not working your butt off and then not taking care of yourself in the side. And Taurus knows how to take care of itself. Taurus appreciates all of the finer things in life. Taurus is all about, like I said before, all about the good food, the drinks, the, let's take a vacation and have a good time. This is all that Taurus brings in, and it's aware of that. But when Taurus's focus is on something else, it will go balls to the wall on that other thing, and it'll leave the self-care behind. So that's the one caveat in this season that you have to be careful and pay attention to, because you will have a tendency, if you take advantage of this energy and you step into the full energy of Taurus and start doing your manifestation, don't forget about the self-care that's going to be needed. Don't forget to take a break. This is why during the season you can work your butt off the weekdays, but take the weekends off. Go on a trip. Relax at home. Have a spa day. If you can't afford to go to a spa, do it at home. There's a lot of DIY stuff you can do to have a spa day at home. So this is the time it's going to be the work hard and rest hard, basically. That is going to keep you moving forward. And it's going to also help your production, because if you just go, you're going to reach burnout, which is another thing that Taurus is famous for. Taurus will reach burnout because it doesn't know a lot of times when to stop. Because once again, keep in mind the bull, right? Once it's focused on something, it's out of its happy little pasture. Now it's going, oh yeah, I'm going after this. And it's kind of sees red, and that's where it's going, and it's not paying attention. At that moment that it's moving forward to something, the pasture is not important. Everything else is back there. So Taurus a lot of times can let all of these things that are important for its health by the wayside when it's actually working really hard on something. So balance for Taurus is always going to be a big struggle. So that is going to be, if you are Taurus in this season, that is the one thing for you to be really, really aware of, that you make sure that you are not working yourself to death. So that's the one thing that's important. So ruled by Venus, Taurus is very charming. Taurus can talk to just about anybody. Taurus is very personable. And so if you are looking at projects this month that you are going to need to do a lot of reaching out to people, a lot of communication with people, that you're going to have to, really network, this is the perfect month, because Taurus energies is going to help. Burnout is really real, especially if you are a Taurus, because here, keep in mind, if you're not a Taurus, this is the month for you to take advantage of that Taurus energy, right? If you are a Taurus, then this is the month that everything is going to be hyped up for you, which is awesome. But you never get a break from that, right? Your balance for you is a constant struggle, because you never move out of Taurus season. You're in Taurus season and everything is hyped, but outside of Taurus season, you're still a Taurus. And then so that becomes a big struggle for you to be able to maintain that balance. So ruled by Venus, Taurus is charming. Taurus can be very sensuous. Taurus appreciates beauty. Taurus enjoys being indulged with food, with drink, with all of the things that we are talking about. Taurus rising, can I still take this? Absolutely, Kristen. So keep in mind, so let's talk about that a little bit, right? So what does rising sign mean? So when you have your sun sign, sun is your ego, so it's you inside. So when you are a Taurus sign, sun sign, that means on the inside, the core of you is a Taurus. When you have a Taurus rising, that means that this is what you show to the world, is a Taurus face, even though you may be feeling something else inside. So as we walk with our sun sign and our rising sign, we're always kind of reaching that balance. Both signs affect us. And so it definitely applies to you as well. Yes, that is, I think Dreamstorm, that's Flavia, right? I think that's you. Flavia's my sister, by the way, for those who don't know. Yes, that is another, I'm about to get to that on my notes here. I couldn't get my tablet to work, so I'm having to deal with it on my phone. So Taurus can be, here's the dark side of it that can happen. Taurus can be a little materialistic, which means sometimes it will get stuck on its things, and it wants to hoard a little bit. And just like just like Capricorn, we love hoarding. So Taurus also needs to be the center of attention at times. And here's the other thing. Taurus needs to be recognized. Not recognizing Taurus's efforts is the kiss of death for your relationship with the Taurus. Now, if you constantly recognize it and you say to Taurus, hey, look, you did a good job, that goes a huge way in keeping Taurus happy. So Taurus needs to be recognized at times. Taurus needs to be sometimes feel like it's the center of attention. That is a typical Taurus thing. So as you're working with that energy this month, you can also take advantage and flip that a little bit to the positive. Of course, Taurus is not the egomaniac that Leo is. Let me be very clear about that. But Taurus is going to have that need to be, because of its Venus, is going to have that need to be a recognized member of the community. It needs to have people around it that looks back at it and says, you are valuable, you are important in my life, I see you, right? So those are the things that are important for Taurus. And so taking advantage of that this season, if you're not a Taurus, stepping into this energy this month, then you are going to be able to take advantage of that. If you need to be recognized in the community, if you need to be able to put your face out in some way, and maybe that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, lean on Taurus energy. Taurus energy is going to come in and say, hey, I can help you with that. I can make some of that nervous feelings about being out there go away. The one thing that you cannot say about Taurus is that it's shy. Taurus is not shy. Taurus is also, because of the Venus energy, like I said, loves to be around people all the time. Taurus is definitely a people person. Another side of Taurus that can be a little bit dark is Taurus tends to be a people pleaser at times. So that means Taurus is so hungry for that recognition, for that inclusion, for that being part of the whole, that a lot of times it will do things for other people to make them happy so that they think positive things of Taurus and sacrifice its own well-being in the process. So this once again goes back to being in balance, right? So that is a very important thing for Taurus. So you can take advantage if you need to people please to get somewhere this month, call on Taurus. Taurus knows the way, can do it in its sleep. But be careful not to be stuck in that balance and do not give away your power in the process, which is going to be very, very tempting to do. So a lot of other things about Taurus is, so let's look at, in a good day, Taurus can be very patient. Taurus can be organized, supportive. Taurus is always romantic. Taurus likes to be wined and dined and all of those things. It can be very careful and it's very dedicated. Taurus tends to be a very, very loyal sign until you piss it off. Don't piss it off. But until that point, Taurus can be very, 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 loyal. Now, on a bad day, what does Taurus do on a bad day? And this is going to deal with the shadow aspects of Taurus. Taurus is prone for overindulging, which means overeating, over drinking, overspending, over all of those things. Although Taurus is not as bad on overspending as some other signs are. Taurus is extremely stubborn. And this goes back to being a fixed sign. Taurus does not do well with change. Taurus doesn't like things to change. Taurus sees the world through the fixed lens of this is how things are. Everything has its place. And the minute something moves out of place, Taurus is like, oh, you think you're moving? No, you go back to your spot, right? Because that's how Taurus's world is. Dealing with change for Taurus, they can do it, but it's not their favorite thing to do. And it is very, very difficult for them to deal with change. So that is one of the things to keep in mind. Also, if you are a Taurus, this is going to be the month that you can probably, if you need to make some changes, be very careful and work really hard to be able to make those changes. Because a lot of times what Taurus tends to do is it tends to in order to maintain the balance, it'll talk itself out of making changes, right? Even if those changes would be for its own reward, for its own benefit, the changes are going to improve Taurus's life. But because Taurus does not like the change, Taurus is going to say, well, no, that's going to be bad and that's never going to work. And it'll talk itself out of it to stay in that comfortable, fixed state, which is nice for stability and for being able to maintain cohesion in the things that you're doing, right? But it's not great for growth. Staying in a fixed state means you don't have any room to grow and to move forward. So it's important to make sure that you bring that back in and say, okay, I understand that change is difficult, But let me really look at that and let me pull out all of these excuses that I'm giving myself right now of why it is that I can't make a change. Let me go back into that now and say, okay, let me look at this really, really objectively and see if I can make a better decision. Um, Also, Taurus on its shadow side can be lazy. Even though Taurus, once again, it's that dealing with balance, right? Taurus is a very hard worker. So Taurus doesn't have an in between. It's either going at 200,000 miles an hour or zero. There's no middle ground. So bringing all of that in to be able to balance that energy in for Taurus is a difficult balancing act, and it's something that they struggle with all the time. Um, Taurus also can be sometimes a Taurus. Taurus is very money conscious, and once again, it's gotta, because it's a fixed sign, it's gotta make sure that it's got the money to go the distance, right? It's very careful about where things go. So a lot of times, what you're going to see with Taurus is they may buy some things on impulse. But chances are they're going to compare prices. They're going to look around. They're going to really think about it. Is this the best deal for me? Is this not the best deal for me? Like Capricorn, like me, who's like, oh yeah, I buy it before I even think about it, right? Taurus is not like that. So a lot of times Taurus will tend to be cheap because it'll look at some things and say, maybe not. So a lot of times what can happen with Taurus is, instead of buying the more expensive thing that's going to last you longer, you buy the cheapest thing that's going to break tomorrow, and then you're going to have to buy another one. So keep that in mind also when you're working with Taurus energy. And Taurus can be too cautious, and that goes back to that fear of change, fear of instability, fear of, is things change? What's going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen. I know this as it moves right now. This is great. I can do this. But as we start moving into change, then how difficult is that going to be? What am I going to be able to do with that? So this was another thing that I thought was really cool, that I looked at Taurus favorite things and what they hate. And so for favorite things, what came up was photography. I think that kind of, I would say under photography, the arts would probably be appropriate. The mountains, it's an earth sign. It's going to be preferring the mountains to the beach because it's just kind of what's ingrained in it. Great music. It's going to like rich gourmet food. Food is a big thing for Taurus. Most Taurus signs are signs that are kind of like that Italian grandmother, right? Oh, you need a second helping and maybe a third and a fourth and a fifth, right? Food is very, very important for this sign. And then the other thing it said is satin sheets. Taurus likes the little luxuries in life, and there's nothing wrong with that. So what does Taurus hate? And this I thought was really interesting. So Taurus hates being rushed, being told that it needs to go here and it needs to go there and it needs to chop, chop, chop and do it. You're going to piss Taurus off in about 2 seconds the minute you do that. Taurus hates wasting money. So food is real. Yeah. And for those who don't know, my sister, who's a Taurus, is a fantastic chef. So that is very, very appropriate for her. Taurus hates wasting money. So this is the kiss of death for Taurus, right? You buy something today and you think you made a good purchase, and then tomorrow you see it cheaper. Oh my God, Taurus does not sit well with that. It's like, oh, I've spent extra money that I shouldn't have spent. So that is something to be on the lookout. And Taurus is always going to be great at punishing itself. So make sure that you're not giving yourself those 30 lashes in the morning. Sometimes you need to learn to let things go a little bit, which is also not a strong suit for Taurus. Letting things go is really hard because why? Change. It's going to, even the things that make Taurus's life miserable, Taurus knows where those things are. If you let those things go, where the hell are they going to go? So Taurus does not like to do that. Taurus hates dirty things. It cannot live in a pigsty. Taurus is somebody who likes to be organized. It doesn't like things around its area to be messy and being thrown around or anything like that. Taurus likes, and this one I don't know, it says hotels. I think Taurus would probably like hotels over camping, and I don't blame them because for me, camping is a hotel with no room service. So, I don't do camping. So I don't blame them in that regard. And it says that Taurus hates mornings. And so, yeah, Taurus are generally not morning people. They're more like afternoon, evening people. And it all ties back into that Venus energy, right? Venus wants to sleep during the day and party at night, because at night you have the glamour. At night you have the chance that you can see. You can be the center of attention much better at night than you can during the day. So those are all of the things that come into play for that. So let's see. Keywords for Taurus: stability, security, elegance, sensuality, stubbornness, and persistence. Where you'll find them: comparing prices on a luxury purchase, singing in a band or a choir, working 3 jobs, displaying paintings at an art gallery. So how are we going to take all of this Taurus energy this month and bring it into our lives if we're not Taurus? So this is going to be the month of hard work for us, right? This is the time to put your nose to the grindstone and make sure that you can work those ideas you came up with last month. Taurus also has an appreciation for beauty and things around them. So maybe this is the month, if you're thinking about redecorating your home to make it feel cozier, make it feel better, this could be a great month to do that and really take advantage of that Taurus energy, especially for those of you who are not naturally interior decorators like me, has no vision for those kinds of things. Taurus has an excellent vision for that. If you don't have that, then this may be a month to lean on that Taurus energy and say, you know, I got to do something with that room and I don't know exactly what to do. And let me tap into that Taurus and see if I can get some ideas and some, you know, ways to do it. This is going to be the month to really stick to your guns on some things. If there's people coming, nagging at you to do this and do that and do that, this is the month that you can lean into that Taurus energy and say, no, this is the month of me. This is the month that I am going to do the work. I am going to put myself first and I am going to be rewarded. And last but not least, if you have been going balls to the wall since January, which many of us have just because of the way things have been over the last 3 years, you know, it feels like you don't have a break. We're all going balls to the wall all the time. This is the month for self-care. This is the month to take a minute for yourself, is to indulge, is to binge Netflix with a pint of Ben and Jerry's, right? This is the month to do that, to kind of bring yourself back into balance. This is not going to be really the month for you to start giving away things to other people. So Taurus is a very homey sign. It's a very, let's look at my surroundings. Let's see where everything is and let's make that better. So this is some of the things that you can do this month with Taurus that's going to help bring more balance and more focus into your life. Does anybody have any questions? We have a lot of people join today, and I'm very, very excited. That's why I went to the multiple broadcast, because I think that would give more people opportunities to see it. Do you guys have any questions about anything that we talked about today, or any comments or insights that you want to add of anything that maybe, you know, aha moments or things like that? And I totally stole that from Brandy. She says that, and I was like, that is such a great phrase, an aha moment. So I'm totally using it. The other thing, while people have a chance to type, the other thing I want to remind you of is tomorrow we're doing our live sale, and we are not doing it on Instagram. Keep that in mind. So our live sale for tomorrow is going to be happening via Facebook. So it's going to be on my YouTube channel, on the Wild Witch channel. It's going to be on the Raven Moon Emporium Facebook page. And it's also going to be on the Wild Witch Facebook page. So you have 3 different places for you to be able to watch the live sale tomorrow. So let's see, Taurus are good at helping set boundaries. They are, but here's the thing to keep in mind about Taurus, right? Taurus are great about setting boundaries with people who are not already in their inner circle. Right? The minute you have people that are in your inner circle as a Taurus, right? The minute you stepped over that fence and you are part of the herd, Taurus will sacrifice itself to protect that person. So this means that Taurus a lot of times is at risk of being in imbalanced exchange with people in its inner circle, which will lead people in its inner circle to take advantage of Taurus at times. So Taurus has to be very cautious about the people that it already knows, that it trusts, that it holds close, to make sure that those people are not in an out of balance relationship with you. So that's a very good point. Yes, Taurus is great at setting boundaries from the outside. Taurus is not going to let anybody walk all over them that's outside. You know, you have to work really hard to get past that fence. Taurus is not somebody who's going to let you in. It's going to be great as an acquaintance in the beginning. Taurus takes a long time to bring you into their inner circle. But once you're in, you're kind of in, and you have to do some pretty heinous things to be kicked out. So keep that in mind when you're working with that Taurus energy. Any other questions for anybody? And tomorrow, by the way, in the live, we're going to be doing a lot of things to help you out during this season. So I have a lot of crystals that are going to really be resonating with that Taurus vibration that I'm going to show you guys. And also hopefully going to have some different things that you can use in your indulgence side. So we're going to have some baths, we're going to have some incenses and oils, those kinds of things that are going to be helping you out in terms of bringing a little bit more balance into your life. All right, guys, if nobody has any questions, we did go a little bit over. I try to stay under 25 minutes. We're at 30 minutes, but awesome. I love the interaction we had today. Thank you so much for participating and for joining us. And join us next week for The Witch is In again. And you can watch it on Facebook or YouTube. So I'll see you guys next week, Monday at 2 o'clock. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.